Hi guys. 모르겠다. 야. 보자.
Is it okay?
이게 나오는
That's
것
right.
같아. 나오는 것 같아. 오케이, 이제 기다리자. 사람들이 수업 링크 안 했어가지고 어떡하냐.
How many people know your schedule today?
Already 36 people liked it.
36? Which means they will watch your broadcasting?
Hi everyone. I'm sorry that we are in panic to figure out the right way that we can live stream today, and I'm so sorry that I'm late and I had a very urgent problem with my phone. Like
Your
this.
fault.
Yeah, that's my fault. And then this camera doesn't work very well, and I had to use my James phone, and it's a first time to use someone's phone, and he figured out, and I was in panic that I was gonna late to, show our streaming with you. So I'm so sorry. And then he figured out.
But I made her calm down.
Hi guys. Hi John. How are you? How was your day? It's been a long day, right? It's a Friday, and it's only 5 people, and some people we're gonna figure out when we're gonna start. So
Sure.
just let's wait 5 minutes. And how was your day?
My day today?
No, it's not. Okay, this is
Today was
morning.
not good.
It's morning in Korea.
Because of you.
He's blaming because I was just like I
mean-
yelled, and okay, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, we were working on, how to figure out to start our live stream, but you were panked out, and then I was trying to make you calm down, so it was not easy. Yeah. But is it audio on?
Yeah, can you hear us? Please reply that if you can hear clearly. It's a little bit far from the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's yes.
So hi, Cubanito. Hi, John. Jonathan. How was your day? How was your yesterday? It was
Yesterday,
Friday, right?
I was working. What about you?
My day yesterday,
Mm.
I had a quiz for CSR class.
Kids? Okay.
Quiz. That's for my
Quiz?
university.
You mean test? Okay.
The exam. I had an exam that I had to do yesterday.
You have to explain them because they don't know about quiz. Quiz means just quiz, like a
So exam.
yeah.
And okay. So many people. Hi Jonathan and Moon Stream Cam. And I will let you know how much we are so grateful that we can cross our path with the people from abroad virtually, not physically yet. But yesterday, one of my audiences sent me a message, an email about you after reading
About
your
me?
article and contest.
Okay.
And it's very overwhelming and a heartwarming message. So
Thank you.
I will read you later. And it's,
Okay. I know who Yuna is.
what he mentioned.
Yes, she's also live streaming.
Yuna from TVRK is doing a live streaming right now. Maybe she is stealing some of your viewers. Don't worry, just
You know what? I am also from DPRK, so watch me, watch us. Yeah, watch
okay.
us.
So
What about you? What was your day? I mean, yesterday.
Well, yesterday,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, I had an exam,
Okay.
and
So
then I had to edit
how
my
did
video.
it go?
Oh, I did very well because I studied hard, and I'm a very well prepared person.
Okay.
I'm okay
That's
for me.
great. So
And it's
okay.
only 7 people are here, but
Not only.
now.
Yeah.
But we can expect. We don't. It doesn't matter how much people are watching us.
Sure.
It's a matter what kind of message that we can deliver to people.
Okay. Just start with your plan.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Actually, you have to. I mean, make me introduce myself, you know.
Yes,
I didn't introduce myself yet, so
So now let's start. And I prepared my questions for James, and let's dive into the topic for our live streaming. So, like my first question is your introduction to my audiences.
introduction.
Could you
Okay,
explain
sure,
who you
yeah.
are? And
Hi,
hi.
I am James. James is my English name, and my Korean name is Lee Jung-chul. I'm from North Korea, as you know, Uni, and I came to South Korea in 2007, and like it's been 14 years. Wow.
Wow, 14 years.
Yeah, living in South Korea.
So when did you leave the North Korea?
Before 2007, which means 2006. Yeah.
So when you are, how old you are?
15. Yeah, maybe around 15.
Wow, so almost the period that you lived in South Korea as much as like you lived in North Korea.
Sure, like
Almost.
half of my life, you know, like was in North Korea, and then the half of it is in South Korea.
That's an amazing
people.
journey.
Yeah.
And like, how did you get here?
You know, walking, traveling, taking a boat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, first, as you know, if we want to leave North Korea or escape North Korea, first we have to cross the river. You know, like Amlok River or Duman River. So those rivers are between China and North Korea, which means that is a border between North Korea and China. So I crossed the Amlok River. Yeah, I just walked it because it was winter, so the river was frozen. You know, so which means I didn't have to swim.
Okay.
Yeah, I just walked.
But there were any soldiers that observe you?
Of course, but you can, you know, you can bribe them.
Okay, so did you bribe them or someone just did bribe for you?
Someone who was a broker. There was a broker who helped me. So yeah, as you know, money can solve almost everything in North Korea.
Yeah.
Even though North Korea, I mean, they argue that North Korea is a socialism, but it's not. Because if we pay money, we can bribe soldiers and other people. That's how we can cross the river safely. What about you? You also crossed the river, right?
Yeah, but what time did you cross the Yalu River between China and North Korea?
In the middle of the night. Yeah.
Okay.
It was dark, so.
But for me, it's I crossed the
swim?
river. No, we cannot swim. As you know, it's the current. It's very strong.
That's right. Yeah.
So we cannot swim. Just cross the Yalu River at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Okay. So while soldiers are sleeping, and how many people did join with you when you cross the?
Just me.
Really? At the time when I crossed the river, just with the 4 people, including 1-year baby.
4 people, including. That was so dangerous, because if the baby cries,
It happened.
you guys will get caught.
Yeah, actually, it happened. Just cross the
That
Yalu
happened?
River. And just it took only 5 or 10 minutes to went to the China by crossing the river. But after that, the water was so cold, and then in the morning it's very frozen.
That's right.
The baby
Yeah.
started crying, and then I was in panic. But we are so
like
lucky.
today.
Not like today. It's, we cannot compare this
Yeah.
this panicness with the life when we are facing for battle life to chasing the freedom.
But for me, it was the same.
Maybe your life in South Korea and your life in North Korea might be different from me. So, and the other question I wanna ask that it's about the contest. I was
Okay.
just so happy, and then I was very honored to witness that you are gonna discuss about the name of the North Korean defectors as
Sure.
a traitor, and it was very
But can I
provoking.
interrupt?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
are you reading the comments now?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Just
so-
I wanna introduce you first,
Sure,
and then we can
sure.
read the questions
Mm.
later.
But before that, I also wanna talk about how did I get to South Korea.
Yeah.
So after I crossed Amrok River, which is between North Korea and South Korea, I went to China, and I lived China for like 1 year, almost 1 year, but it was not safe at all. I
1 year.
yeah, I tried to hide, hide from Chinese police, and because we were undocumented and we didn't have an ID, right? And I lived in China for almost 1 year, and then I went to Laos and Thailand, and I came to South Korea.
But how did you get into Laos and Thailand? What kind of like tools or what kind of
Tools?
transportation
Tools?
you can use?
Taking a vehicle like a car
Mm-hmm.
and bus and train and boat. Yeah, boat was the most interesting.
For you?
Even though coming to South Korea from North Korea was so hard, it's so hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dangerous as well. But if I taking back the time now,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is also a journey,
Mm-hmm.
like a traveling. So when I was going to Thailand from Laos, I took a boat,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a boat on Mekong River,
Mm-hmm.
River
Yeah.
Mekong.
Mekong River, right?
Maybe many people know about the river,
Yeah.
and it was so interesting, because that was the first time I took a boat.
In your life.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long it took a time to get into Thailand from the Mekong River?
Maybe 2 hours.
2 hours.
And I mean from Laos. Yeah.
Okay, so are there any people around you to protect
No, there were some people,
from North Korea?
Yes,
I see. So you are only 13 years old.
like 14, 15.
Okay, that's why it made you like trigger you to be interested by boating.
Yeah, because I was also afraid, but at the same time it was fun.
And people commented and asked the question is like as you explained how did you escape and what kind of finance situation you are. So people with the no money for brokers escape.
Okay.
How did you like get here without any finance support? Like people want to know.
We also paid the broker. Like everyone knows, as you know, we have to pay, right? And my family sent me the money from South Korea. I mean from China, and that's how I could pay the broker. Yes.
So your family already settled down in South Korea at the first time, and
No,
then
in China.
in China.
In China, yes.
And then did you escape with them from China?
Sure, yeah.
I see. I
But
never
what's
heard.
I mean, did you also pay the broker, or
For me,
did you
it's-
come to South Korea alone, or how did you come here?
he's a co-MC today.
No, I'm also wondering.
Actually, I never told you this story about
No.
my escaping. Actually, we are from North Korea,
Tell
but
them.
we don't talk about much our escape because it's the hardest memory that we have to bring up.
No, it's
But
not
in my
pleasant
case,
to memorize.
But for you, but for me, it's very difficult.
Okay.
For me, in my case, I came alone and I didn't pay my broker fee
Okay.
directly while
Okay.
I was escaping because I had no one in South Korea. So-
or in China
Yeah.
either. Okay.
Yeah, so no one. Just I had to face all the journey by myself. So I promised to the brokers that I was gonna pay $7,000 if I
7,000?
get into so 7 million, so 700만 원
I know.
in Korea. So in 2013, when I just settled in South Korea, I just paid back from the money that I supported by government.
Okay, so the broker believed you.
Mm-hmm.
You would pay
Yeah.
once you get to South Korea.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, they believed me, and then I promised. We had to write the contract actually with the brokers.
Really?
So I had to write my name, then my sign that I was gonna pay $7,000 since I settled in South Korea after 6 months.
But the thing is, $7,000 is a quite big money,
Mm-hmm.
especially for North Koreans like you who just got to South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big money.
Yeah.
And if you give the money just away, how could you live in South Korea? I mean, you will be nothing.
It's what I learned from my life is that when you have nothing, your desire is higher than ordinary people who have.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
all the ideas and creativeness comes from nothing. So
Okay.
I just paid back 7 million won, which is the $7,000 to my broker, and I started with the zero and then find a job at a bakery.
Okay.
And I started working to earn money, and then I got fired because I don't know the items.
Okay, that's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I agree with you because when we have nothing or when we get desperate,
Mm-hmm.
we try to find anything to live.
Yeah, right.
Like it was the same in China, in North Korea as well. Because one of the reasons that I left North Korea was I was hungry. Yeah. My father was working at elementary school, but as you know, if we work as a lawyer or doctor or teacher in North Korea, our income, I mean monthly income is the same, almost about like $4. $4.
So per month, right?
Yeah.
How
$4.
could you afford the meal with the $4 per month?
We did a farm,
Yeah.
농사, and then we also had a business. Like,
Wow, what kind of business?
we went to China to sell something.
I
I'm not
see.
sure I can call it a business, but I want to call it a business.
So, which is the standards from North Korean government? It is illegal trade, right?
That's right. If we explain it more easily, we can call it smuggling.
Yeah, right. So that are the sources that most North Korean people who live north part of North Korea do for their lives.
They have to do something like smuggling if they live near the border. Next to China.
Yeah.
Because North Korean government are irresponsible. Their North Korean regime is irresponsible for the people. They didn't give nothing, right? They don't give nothing. So, which means we have to find a way to live our lives.
Exactly.
So that's why we did business and farm, everything.
And the other question is, is it more difficult to escape directly to South Korea instead of China?
Could you repeat?
So is it more difficult
Okay.
to escape directly to South Korea instead of China? So to going to China, it
Okay, I got
sounds
that.
like easier than South Korea, but what about you?
Maybe I cannot just compare because living North Korea is also dangerous because if we get caught, we will be sent to North Korea, and which means we will go to prison, right? And if we get caught, from going to South Korea from China, it is also dangerous.
Mm.
I think it's more dangerous if we get caught when we going to South Korea.
I see,
Mm.
but it's what about the what is the big differences to live in South Korea
Mhm.
and China?
China,
Mm-hmm.
there are many things. First, I have an ID.
Okay, in South Korea.
Yeah, because if we come to South Korea, South Korea thinks North Koreans also are South Koreans because of the constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, South Korean constitution says the land of South Korea also includes the land of North Korea.
I see.
So that's how we are the same people as South Koreans. So once you just get to South Korea, you become a South Korean.
Yeah.
So that is the most big difference between living in China
Mm-hmm.
and living in South Korea, because
Yeah.
I can feel safe.
Okay, the safety is the
Yeah.
big differences. And in South Korea, we don't need to worry about that. We can repatriated to
That's
North
right.
Korea.
Yeah.
But in China, as you just get caught, there is no any alternative ways that you can avoid the repatriation and the deported to North
Deportation.
Korea.
Okay. So like in China, you feel like you cannot feel like you are living, but you are hiding.
Yeah, and a few days ago, I met my friend who lived in China over 5 years, and she mentioned that still, if she sees the policeman in South Korea, it reminds her trauma to be like a pounding heart that she's worried about whether she's gonna get caught or not, even she's safe in South Korea.
That is all because of North Korea, the regime. the people they are not wrong, but the regime is wrong. Okay, so can you ask me the question about the speech?
Now it's
Yeah.
time to talk about his speech. It's wonderful, and then discuss about the traitor, the name of the North Korean defectors. And I wonder what kind of reasons and what kind of background that made you discuss this topic.
The topic was the label of North Koreans. I mean North Korean defectors. Do you know the meaning of defector?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Defector, it means
I want
left
to
the
check.
country. Left the country.
Okay.
But you can at least you can come back if you don't like the new place that you don't want to leave.
And
a
also,
traitor, it's more extreme word.
that's right. So defector means traitor as well.
Yeah,
The
it's a synonym.
Yeah, the meaning of the defector also includes traitor. Yeah. So I was thinking about when I read news in BBC or in Korean news media, I was wondering about the meaning of defector, and I just checked it on Google.
Yeah.
And defector says a lot of meanings, as people who left the regime. Also, it means a traitor. So, what? Am I a traitor?
Yeah.
As I told you just before, one of the reasons that I left North Korea
Yeah.
was I was hungry, and the regime was irresponsible, right? That's why I left North Korea, because of the severe hunger.
Yeah.
But the North Korean regime calls us defector, and the world as well. The world, I mean the media in the world, they also call us defector, which means traitor. So I was asking myself, am I a traitor? And I was not. Yeah.
That's why you made that speech.
Yeah, because do you think am I a traitor?
You just left the country for the
Hunger.
food.
Yeah.
because of the hunger and then
because
to fill
of
your
the
empty
regime
stomach.
was irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean, I mean, leaving North Korea because of hunger means I am a traitor? I was talking about this.
So could you just briefly explain to my audiences about your main triggers of your speech, the
Okay.
discussion of traitor?
So actually the world calls us defector,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is because they don't think about us sincerely or carefully.
Mm.
You know the Kim Yo-jong, the younger sister of Kim Jong-un, who is the leader in North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Yo-jong calls us as defector as well, and she was accusing us like you guys are the traitor because you left the regime.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I was hungry, and then the regime, the regime, they propagates. North Korea is a paradise on earth. They say people in North Korea, they have nothing to envy in the world.
That's right. That is the what we learned and what we received from the government.
But that was a lie. And that was something that I want to talk about my speech,
I see.
And I also want people in the world,
Mm-hmm.
they know about North Korea, the real face of North Korea.
Yeah.
That's why I prepared my speech. And as you know, I won the prize, the grand prize.
Okay. So he got two. I think it's
Don't talk.
okay. The prize, and then he won. It doesn't matter how much you get for me. It's matter that you won. And then you delivered a very insightful message to people.
Yeah, I heard that some comments from people, and Casey, the co-founder of FSI,
Mm-hmm.
he told me a lot of people told him, like messaged him, and I was inspired or I was touched by the speech.
Including me.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
I was kind of grateful, because there are a lot of people out there who want to hear us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was grateful.
Yeah, and then people just responded that yes, Kim Jong Un and his family are traitors, not you.
That's right. I mean, they treated the people in North Korea.
Yeah.
They betrayed the people in North Korea. They said, we will take care of you. You don't have to go to like other countries because North Korea is a paradise on earth. But that was a big lie, which means they betrayed the people.
Yeah. And Kelvis said that thank you for your comment. NK is a prison with the people who have committed no crime.
They are so smart. Did you let them know before this
I
broadcasting?
think all of my audiences have not like a deep knowledge, but they have enough knowledge to analyze North Korea because they have been followed North Korean defectors for a while, and they have, they are insightful about North Korea, what's going on in this world. That's why. And
Thank you for saying that. Actually, I want to ask you, what made you leave North Korea?
like
So-called paradise. Why did you leave paradise?
my audiences already know today it's you are main character, and I just
wanna
like
know.
a full
Yeah.
freedom to
For
wearing
freedom?
my the earrings and
Okay.
have long hair. As you know, it's completely forbidden in North Korea, and freedom of expression it's obsessed and then repressed by the North Korean government.
Not because of hunger.
No, not because of hunger. For me, it's more about to express myself and then finding who I am instead of being a slave for dictators.
It's kind of interesting because when I was in North Korea, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't get to know about what you felt like freedom of
Wow.
expression because I was brainwashed.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the regime tried to brainwash the people like they have to follow the regime line. So I was brainwashed. I didn't like complain anything. Okay, I have to be loyal to the regime.
Okay.
That's why I was surprised,
Mm-hmm.
that you felt that kind of, freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get to know freedom of expression, you have to be educated.
Mm.
You have to learn that kind of notion. But you knew about that kind of thing when you were in North Korea,
Mm-hmm.
which was surprising. Wow.
Yeah, we are from a same nation, which
Yeah.
is the as known as a dictatorship and communism country. But everyone has a different lifestyle as well. 25 individuals are not the same,
That's right.
and your life was different from mine.
Mhm.
And I can say I was educated by the foreign media that I was watched illegally with
When
the
you were
South
in
Korean
North
drama.
Korea.
When
Okay.
I was in North Korea, so that's why I could analyze
You
the
should let me
outside of
know.
You are far from me physically, and there is no freedom of movement. And how
That's
can I
right.
visit to your hometown?
That also sucks, If we want to travel other city, you, you have to get permission.
Oh my God, that's the only North Korea exists this type of system to
That's
get the
right.
permission to go to the other city.
Yeah, because you left North Korea because of that thing, the restriction.
Mm-hmm.
And the regime calls you a traitor.
Because I escaped for freedom,
Yeah.
not for Hangul. What is the differences?
I mean, the thing is, we are all the victims.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the point, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now we are
That's so
smiling to talk about our miserable life when we faced in North Korea. But it's sometimes 9 years ago I had to be there. Not just like my life had a big changes from 9 years ago.
That's right. I cannot imagine, if I didn't leave the regime,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I would be in military.
That's you had to be in the military service over 10 years.
That's right.
That just sucks.
I mean, they know, right? Like,
Mhm.
men in North Korea,
Mm.
they have to serve the military
Mhm.
like for 10 years. Yeah.
Right. And Dana says that it's nice to hear your voice. James, you are always so
Hi, Dana.
helpful when
Donna.
I met you. Yeah, it's
Maybe I know Donna.
yeah, it's she is very close with the TNKS,
Oh,
so
okay.
maybe she might
Maybe
follow you.
I heard of you. I heard of her
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook.
I see.
Mm.
And Tim said hunger for and then what I received from Lon's comment is that it's kind of like the same thing as get the permission before he does a mukbang to North Korean people. It is the same as
That's
get the
right.
permission to go to the other city
Yeah.
for ordinary North Korean people.
That's the problem. I mean,
Mhm.
Kim Jong-un, he lives with freedom
Mm-hmm.
of traveling all over the world and all over the city, but
Mm.
the people they don't have the same right.
That's right. And James, there is a very, very interesting question you might like. It's Hina ask you, James.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for Americans who support socialism?
Socialism?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Advice.
Advice people who support socialism.
I heard that there is a socialist party in France. In France, because France and the US are democratic country, right? They are democracy. When I heard that first time, when I heard that even in democratic countries there is a socialists, like people who support socialism, And when I heard that at first, I was shocked
Yeah.
because
Me too.
North Korea is they are arguing that North Korea is a socialistic country, right? That's why I felt kind of angry because about the people who support socialism. But after I started to live in South Korea, and it's been almost more than 10 years, supporting socialism in US, it's okay because there is a freedom of expression.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you support freedom of expression, right? And we can, of course, we can oppose or of course we can argue with them who support socialism. But it doesn't mean that we have the right eliminate the people who support socialism because we live in democracy, and which means we have to 존중하다.
Respect.
Yeah, respect others' view.
I see.
So I don't know, in the US, I don't know, actually I don't know, or I'm not sure I can give advice. But what I think is that if you live in democracy, you have the right to pursue socialism or capitalism or democracy, everything. The thing is, you guys have to talk, yeah, or have a discussion if you are against other people.
It's very well said, and then I really like that your statement. It's we are living in democracy,
Yeah.
so we have to also respect others' view as well. And even though like ideologically we can have different views and
Sure.
different perspectives, whether it's socialism and capitalism. As a person who live in capitalism and also who have lived in the communism with the dictatorship, for me, I don't like the status of socialism, but I can say historically the socialism and communism has been changed a lot as well.
Right? That's right. Right.
So maybe when we hear the words of socialism and communism, or instead of analyze that deep meaning and deep policies, we also have a bias to criticize first.
Actually, we can criticize others if they have other views, but we cannot hate them. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's not right for us hate because hating someone means there is no discussion. Just you are just nothing. Yeah. You don't have the right to talk about some agenda or other issues with us because you are. Yeah.
I think I like the welfare system because in capitalism there are a lot of corruptions and also a lot of gaps between rich and poor. So as many people who really want to help North Korean defectors who are struggling in South Korea and even the United States, all over the world, including China, that kind of sharing and it's okay, and so like help people who need our more ability and skills. But the idea of being equal doesn't make sense for me because look at these fingers. Every length is different. It means everyone has different skills as well. But being equal, it doesn't make sense. So I don't like that idea. But I like the welfare system.
Also, even though I don't support socialism, but I respect others who support socialism. Of course, because that's why I came to South Korea, right? To pursue everything. Yeah. And speaking of freedom of expression, I heard that there was a funny story like
Okay, please deliver.
yeah. In the US, United States, there are many people who support freedom of expression.
Okay.
And they let every people who speak about freedom in their state. But they don't allow the speaker of socialist to talk about freedom of expression. Because that kind of thing exists, right?
Oh yeah.
although you support the freedom of expression, but you don't allow the socialists who support freedom of expression.
That makes sense. We have to think about that
Yeah.
part as well. And let's take a break a little bit to read these comments.
You,
And
you-
thank you
actually,
so
you
much,
have to-
casual
yeah.
observer, and for your donation. I really appreciate. And we are gonna have nice lunch with this your contribution.
Okay,
And
wow.
and
Okay.
I know, John, and thank you so much. I'm always grateful that I met you virtually, but soon I'm gonna call with you. And the comments is that this have ever been to the U.S., James?
Sure. Thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
I went to US for free. when I just got graduated from high school in South Korea.
I see, but what kind of
Yeah.
like process that you had been?
Actually, there was a program that the program sent some students, like 10 students,
Mm-hmm.
to the US,
Mm-hmm.
and I was one of them. Because since I came to South Korea, one of the subjects at high school that I liked
Mm-hmm.
the most was English.
Wow, that's why he can fluently speak English now.
Not fluently, maybe they know about my poor English, but
You're not.
since I came to South Korea, I started to learn about English, and which was so fun, because I didn't learn English when I was in North Korea very well. So I spent a lot of time to study English. That's why when the program was ready, some teachers told us, James, you should go to the US because you made a lot of efforts to study English.
Wow, yeah, it makes sense.
And I went to LA,
How was your impression of US?
US.
Mhm.
It was fantastic.
Wow.
You
Any
know,
more details?
I went to California,
Mm-hmm.
LA, and the weather.
Mm.
The weather was perfect. When I just got LA, the weather was fantastic because it was not hot and it was not cold either. It was just perfect, You know the feeling.
Yeah, I know.
Like autumn in South Korea.
What else did you like when you are in California? What else?
What else?
Mm-hmm.
First, the weather was perfect,
Mhm.
and I tried In-N-Out hamburger.
Me too. I love In-N-Out hamburger.
But did you go to LA?
I was also in LA for 2 months to attend the English course by the supporting of the like 물망초. So
Okay.
in 2019 I was in LA and then I had a chance to go to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a very reasonable price, but it's delicious as well.
It was delicious, but it was not that, as I expected.
I see, but for me, someone who doesn't really enjoy the hamburgers, it was kind of like a second time to eat hamburger for me since I escaped, and like, oh my god, yum yum yum. Oh, I
That's
miss
right.
In-N-Out Burger.
Many people tell us if we go to LA, you should try hamburger In-N-Out. Yeah, I tried, but okay.
I see.
But I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it as well. It's very delicious, especially for the student who
That's
doesn't
right.
have money.
Yeah.
It's like you can get a value what you paid.
And I also went to Hollywood.
Mm.
Yeah, Hollywood. Wow, it was so good. It was like a movie, Hollywood, the street Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of restaurants and a lot of people, but the thing is, they were like in the movie.
I see. It's not a reality.
Yeah. I mean, because if we see some restaurants in South Korea or other cities, it was kind of normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Normal, the appearance of it. But
Mm-hmm.
if we go to Hollywood, the appearance of restaurants are like kind of unique, right? So I felt like I was in the movie.
Can you imagine it's 10 years ago, this life would have been happened to us.
For me, 15 years ago.
15 years, for me 9 years ago. And now we can cross the border between countries without worrying to be caught. And just like a show passport and an ID card, hey, I'm a Korean and I'm an individual. I cannot believe.
We cannot imagine, right? It's kind of incomparable. But I think for foreigners, maybe they don't know the big difference between North Korea and like South Korea or the US because they didn't experience. But you have to, if I explain more, if we live in North Korea, there is no internet, no freedom to travel all over the world. Yeah, it's kind of dark. Yeah. So you cannot imagine.
And they'll say that America has more social programs than NK.
Stumpeder. Okay.
South Korea has some of the least travel restriction of any country. And Hina, thank you so much for your donation. And James works hard. It's all of glories to James today.
It's not.
And most countries love
Thank
Koreans.
you.
Thank you so much. And is NK what happens to people too old to work? In the USA, social program called OCUL or Social Security pays them and takes care of them. NK has no social program for old. Actually, for elders program, so like kind of like a pension system.
Yeah.
Pension system.
In North Korea.
In North Korea?
Oh
my God! Can you explain?
I want to make this clear. If you live in North Korea, you have to work like a man. You have to work at factory. The factory owned by the regime, and the monthly wage, is just like $4, right?
Yeah.
And after you retired from like working, you get nothing. You are working like slaves for the regime, and after you get older and you have to leave the work, right? Which means you have nothing.
So I'm gonna add this a little bit more about the elders system in North Korea. If you see the North Korea as a normal socialist, it's wrong. North Korea is not we cannot label on socialist country and communist country. It's a dictatorship. There is no any socialist system that exists in North Korea. So it means there is no any supporters, no any systems for elders. So if someone is getting old, it means you have to work until you die, and they rely on their children. But many children are like they are abandoned by their children, and some of them just work on the street to grab the hard papers and then sell the market to make just pocket money, so that they can just offer just one meal per day.
Stumpeder said only family. Kim family, yeah.
Yeah, only Kim family for the Kim family members or just authorities who has higher social
that's right.
the status.
That's right.
Not,
or some people who live in Pyongyang.
Just only few people who are selected to work for Kim dictators, and most of ordinary people cannot get supported by North Korean government.
That's why a lot of experts say North Korea is the slavery country for 1%.
Yeah, right.
9% are slaves, and they work just for like 10%. And if like getting back to the traveling in the US, that was the first like legal travel for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was your first time to travel outside of South Korea since
Yeah,
you escaped.
with my visa.
And how did you feel?
Like as I said before, um, coming to South Korea from North Korea, I said it was also a journey, right? Like traveling, because it was the first time for me to travel China and Laos and Thailand. Even though I was like afraid and hiding, but going to US was legal, legal, because
Legal.
I have my visa,
Mm.
and I didn't have to hide, and I didn't have to lie.
Yeah.
I'm from South Korea and I wanna travel the US. Yeah, so it was so kind of weird, yeah. Because
Weird.
even though I went to China and Laos and Thailand, that was when I was undocumented, and I was always afraid. But when I went to the US, I didn't have to be afraid, because I have my visa. Yeah.
It's like a feel you are the air, the fresh air in the morning, and then just like nothing to worry about. Just opens your arms and then shows your ID card.
Okay.
Hey, I am now free person that I can cross the borders and rivers without worrying about to be caught by the North Korean regime. That is a freedom that we are guaranteed, But for most North Koreans cannot even imagine this type of just ordinary life what most people in free country enjoy. And the Mane Kaila said, hello, first time here, welcome to my channel.
Mane? Hi, Mane.
And then Stacy heart with the pray, thank you. And Lon, what would ordinary North Koreans think of Squid Game? Did you watch?
I watched it just in a day. It was
Did you enjoy?
it was a weekend and I enjoyed it.
Okay, so what was the memorable part?
Squid Game.
Squid Kid?
Squid Game, right?
Okay, Squid Game. That is very popular.
It was really popular now, right? Maybe all people know in the world, especially who enjoy Netflix. Actually, it was kind of refreshing me, yeah.
Okay.
Because the content of 오징어 game, I mean Squid Game, it was first in South Korea, right?
I see.
And it was fun. Not to mention, it was fun. And it reminded me of the other movie, like Hunger Game in.
Oh yeah,
in USA.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
American version of
Yeah.
Korean movie, right?
Jennifer Lawrence and Brad and there were other people. And Squid Game reminded me of Hunger Game because it was kind of same survival game, right?
Yeah.
People were in the game and they have to survive for for money or for higher status, right? And the thing is, it also reminded me of North Korea.
Wow. What part intrigued you to think about
Because
North Korea?
I thought most people, not people in Pyongyang, but most people in other cities who live in other cities, I thought, they are kind of players in the game. If we live in North Korea, most students, when we were young, we always talk about, I have to go to Pyongyang. Because going to Pyongyang and living in Pyongyang, the capital city, means you just climbed the ladder, social ladder, and you are successful. You get successful, right? If we go to Pyongyang. So in North Korea, one of the dreams of more people or young people is going to Pyongyang, living in Pyongyang. And one of the reasons that I said people are living in Pyongyang like players in the Squid Game is that they are trying to survive the in North Korea just to go to Pyongyang. Yeah.
That's why it reminds you think about
Yeah.
North Korea.
You know, you
Yeah.
watched the Hunger Game, right?
Yeah, I watched it and then it reminds me about the American movie of Hunger Game as well. And but I haven't finished the Squid Game because I had so many things to do for my work and for my study. So
But the Hunger Game is the same because the players in the game they have to survive,
yeah, right.
and they were also proud of going to the capital city where the leader lives, right? That's why I said okay. It was kind of the same as North Korea.
Yeah, and I'm gonna finish it and then talk about more later. And this Kevin asked, do you think Korea unification will happen in your lifetime? Do you want me to talk first?
He asked me or you?
No, whatever for both of us.
You can go first.
I don't know, but I desperately want, because I'm a very realistic person and I don't say about what's going on in the future because I don't know what tomorrow is going to happen to me and how can I predict because of the status as I am from North Korea, about reunification that can happen in lifetime. If I say it will be happen, it might be, pleased to people, but for me, to be honest, my honest answer, I don't know. But there is one consideration that we can make is that people have to be aware of what's going on in North Korea. And so that's why many people and many activists work on human rights issues and individual human rights so that we can make North Korea free, but without, the collaboration of voices, we cannot make it. That's why I and James are speaking about North Korea today.
Yeah, that is, talking now today is one of the reasons that we want to unification. Because I know that many people in South Korea, they don't support unification. They think unification doesn't have to be happened, right? So, but one of the reasons that I support unification of Korea is that to save North Koreans.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think there is no hope for North Koreans. If we get unified again, we can travel North Korea and North Koreans also travel all over the world, which means their life get better, right? So that's why I think unification have to happen. But I know, as you said, I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because North Korea and South Korea are divided like 4 decades, 7 decades, right? Which means even though we say Koreans are the same race, but there are many things are different.
And my question is about reunification. Also, many people might wonder is that what kind of big conflicts, if conflicts were gonna happen between North Korean people and South Korean people as a North Korean Defector's view?
Big difference, right?
No, I mean it's a big conflicts because as you mentioned that 갈등. So we have been separated over 7 decades. So we have also different culture, different ideologies. And what if the Korea be unified as a one country? What kind of conflicts that you
I think
expect?
there are many differences between North Korea and South Korea. If I have to pick one, I think that is expression, the way of expression. Because did you hear that in North Korea the regime restricted people from expressing oppa?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oppa is a big brother.
means honey. So
In Korea.
when you call your like girlfriend or boyfriend, you call oppa, right?
Yeah.
And those Koreans watch South Korean dramas, and among those Korean couples, they started to calling their partners oppa. And Kim Jong-un said, you cannot use it because oppa means expression of South Korea.
Yeah.
So in North Korea, there are many difference, and in South Korea, since I came to South Korea, there are a lot of things we have to learn, right? Like English words. So when we have to communicate with South Koreans and North Koreans, I think they should learn the meaning of the expression.
I see.
Yeah, like learning English.
So like the learning South Korean language, it's not like equal but similar to learn English as well for North Korean people.
That's right. Do you know today is Hangul Day? Hangul?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hangul is Korean, and Hangul was created by King Sejong, and today is Hangul Day.
In Korea.
We celebrate Hangul Day.
But
even though,
South Korean people don't use Hangul a lot.
yeah, that's right. I mean, they use Hangul a lot, but they also use English words a lot. What I want to say is, North Korea and South Korea use the same Hangul, but as I said, they have been divided for more than 7 decades. And even though they use the same Hangul, there are a lot of different expressions of Hangul in South Korea and North Korea. That's why I said, if we get unified again, we should learn a lot of things to communicate.
I know there are gonna be
That's
lots
what I
of
mean.
conflicts between North Korea and South Korea, and but instead of I'm thinking
What about
about
you?
for me.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the big difference or the big conflict once we get unified again?
For me, it's the big conflict if we are reunified together as a one country. There are a lot, but if I bring some, the first one is that the ideology and the political system to lead to cope democracy.
Sounds deep.
Yeah, so North Korean people lived in a collapsed country without any laws. It's in North Korea there is no any systemic kind of process that you get a job and just depends on the social status that you were given since you were born in North Korea. And they're just saying your power of hands is it's closer than law. So people in the street we can witness to see people are like fighting each other, beating each other. And then we think it's normal, but in South Korea, it's a completely different world. We cannot see someone just like fighting each other in the street, but as a North Korean defector, I was surprised that someone just like, hey, hit me, because you will not get paid. You will be paid by beaten, right? But
because
in North Korea, there is a law above your power, your hands. But North Koreans, like no concept of like following the laws. So it's big differences. And also as you mentioned that the different words, so North Korean people are struggling to cope and to learn about the advanced education level and technology, tools, that type of things. So many. But one thing I'm concerning about the expression, because North Korean people are oppressed and repressed by the North Korean government over 7 decades. So they don't know how to, like
express
bring
their
up
emotions.
And express on. So that, but
like
it takes
oppa.
long time. It takes a long time. So
like
that's
honey.
my opinion.
And okay, sure.
Thank you so much, Joshua, and I really appreciate. And
capitalism.
Graham, thank you so much. No, we have to, connect with the audiences.
I was joking.
I really appreciate that you brought the topic to me as well. James. And
You're
the
welcome.
other question is like we are gonna be finished soon, so one
Oh.
maybe 2 or 3 questions are done.
Mhm.
And the other question is Hanja writing system Hanja. Can you then understand Chinese or vice versa? Chinese 아니 중국어랑 한국말이랑 그러니까 그게 같냐? 그래서 너가 중국어를 알아들을 수 있고 네가 알 수 있냐 이 소리인 것 같아.
Oh, sure. In Korean, there are a lot of the meaning of Hanja, right? So if you get to know the meaning of some words, you have to know about Chinese characters, right? But it doesn't mean that we all understand Chinese because it's not different. Yeah, so Hanja is different from Chinese.
Yeah, totally different, and then grammar is different as well.
But I can say ni hao and sese. And ni hao means hello, and sese means thank you.
And then
and
Korean words
more.
are more like a little more related with the Hanja as well. So
That's
사자성어
right. Sure,
kind
yeah,
of things.
yeah.
And the MENA, I asked this question.
Mena is
If
from
Kim-
China or Taiwan?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
If Kim regime collapses and ends, what would be the new name for North Korea? In case when unification would not happen, would it be like Koryo or Joseon or some other historical?
I think he's a Korean.
I don't know. Mina, thank you for your question.
Korean.
And it's if Kim regime collapse, like a new name for North Korea, you mean? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Korean, the system of Korea, right? So
No, I mean is if the Kim regime collapse, what kind of name would you prefer to be called the North Korea?
North Korea?
Uh-huh.
Of course, South Korea. I mean Korea. I mean
Oh yeah.
Republic of Korea. I mean South Korea, right? So there are many arguments that if we get unified, how could we be one? Like
Yeah.
do we have to follow North Korea's system or South Korean system? Those kinds of questions exist, right? And it's the same. I mean, we should. North Korea should follow South Korea because South Korea is always, much better than North Korea in many ways. So being unified means North Koreans also their lives get better, right? So if they want to live better life, they should South Korean system.
I partly agree, but I disagree with that part you mentioned about North Korean people kind of like follow South Korea.
I mean the system.
I guess the system
Don't
I
get me
like
wrong.
it.
This is
But
live stream.
as you mentioned that
Okay.
the conflicts between different ideas
Okay.
also we can create new idea.
That's all my bad.
Right?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not all your
I'm
bad.
not-
But
Yeah.
for in my
The
opinion,
system. The Kim Jong Un system.
of course, obviously, we cannot eliminate that dictatorship. But for me, to be called North Korea after collapsing of Kim Jong Un, the dictatorship, I want to be called North Korea. Like North Korea
The name of the
want to
country.
be Korea, just like Korea,
Korea.
not North or South, because we are Korean
That's
before.
The official name of South Korea is Republic of South Korea. Republic of Korea, right? So they should be also named Republic of Korea.
So yeah, both we want call North Korea as Korea Republic, not DPRK, just Republic of Korea.
Yeah.
And Mena said I was thinking about the new name of the country.
Tell
And,
us.
that Korea, I think.
Mhm.
And
Okay,
these
sure.
questions can be overcome when there is a will, there is a way. Yeah, that's right. And okay, so
The
it's
last
time.
question.
Okay, the last question. It's time
No,
to
no,
be
no.
finished almost. And the last two questions I want to ask to James because James works hard to deliver his opinions and experience, and it's time to ask to him.
So I want to
And-
ask one question, you.
Yeah, okay.
For me. So, who is your favorite?
Let's go first to you. Okay? I'm gonna wrap up this live stream after
You are like a dictator. Kim Jong-un. Hey.
Yes!
Come on.
Okay.
You know what?
Like just this time.
I'm just kidding.
This time.
Okay.
So James, it's a very fantastic journey that I have since I met you to see you become the winner of contest.
Yeah.
And then your English always. Sometimes I'm learning English from you because you
Really?
are very using like a professional vocabulary.
I'm learning from you.
No, thank you for
Okay, keep
saying
going.
that.
Yeah.
And so I've met him since 2016 or 17.
Maybe that's 16, maybe around.
So
yeah.
5 years ago.
At TNKR, at FSI.
And so I never asked this question personally to you.
Oh.
And can you share your personal goal you have set for yourself?
That sounds deep.
What it means life for you?
I always thinking about my life. I mean, when I think about my life, there's one sentence that I always keep in mind. I should find, I mean, whenever I work or I'm studying, I should find something that creates meaning in my life. So it should be work or it should be like doing YouTube or other thing, right? And what creates meaning in my life is now eating something taste.
Especially, can you deliver what kind of food?
I'm just kidding. Actually, nowadays I'm working as a radio producer nowadays, and we make contents of news or freedom, and we send it North Korea through radio. One thing that I want to say as my goal is that I want to make North Koreans' life better. Yeah, because North Korea has been like dictatorship for more than 7 decades, right? Which means people in North Korea, they have suffered more than 7 decades. So I cannot stand it. I mean, we have to end it before they suffer more than just 10 decades. I mean, 100 years. Yeah. So when I think about like 7 decades, North Koreans are suffer for the period. It kind of disgusting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine your whole life like living in North Korea. I cannot imagine that. So someday I want to North Koreans live a better life. So that's why I'm working as a radio producer. That's my goal, to make North Koreans' life better.
What about for yourself?
Myself? What do you mean?
For yourself, the goal for yourself.
Working for
North Korean people.
yeah, making
It make you to be achieved your goal.
Sure. Yeah. So that's why I am talking in front of you or with you. Like we have to talk about North Koreans more often. That's how we can make the world know about North Korea and they get interested in North Korean human rights. Yeah.
So how can my audiences and then people who are interested about North Korea find your contents you created from with your company?
Unification Media Group.
Okay, is the English
Yeah,
program?
UMG.
So UMG, if you find the UMG,
It's also on YouTube channel.
I see. So YouTube, you can
UMG
find
also
the
has
videos that he created, and then he's a producer.
Not video.
Not video.
Radio content.
Okay. So can we listen the North Korean contents in English?
No, yeah, sadly.
Maybe you might ask them to create in the contents in English.
That means I have to work more.
I wish one day.
Okay, alarming. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so guys.
Okay. My question.
Okay.
So, who is your favorite U.S. president?
Yes, I never thought about it, and then I actually I don't care about the president like a favorite.
I mean,
Or not.
favorite.
No, I don't have it. I don't have
No,
it.
not
and-
Lincoln.
No, I don't know much about the history of America and then US. I'm still learning in the process to learn about other countries' histories
Okay.
because I
What
never
about
learned
Obama?
about it. No, it's people have different political views and
Okay.
perspectives. But Obama,
Hey, calm
well-known
down.
person, respected and very well-cared people. While critics mention about it, it's not a saying what you think. So it's for me, it's more like personally instead of focus to learn about the like American presidents. I wanna know the Korean history at first, and then
Okay.
study more. So
Okay,
it's my opinion.
I can see that you don't want to answer my question. So, my favorite U.S. president is Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
because there are so many autobiographies, right, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the first autobiography was that I read since I came to South Korea was Lincoln. Yeah.
Why you really liked it?
Because if you go to a library,
Mhm.
there are so many autobiographies, and family also was poor and was not rich,
Mm-hmm.
but he always reading books, because he knew that there are a lot of things from books. So if we want to be successful, he says you should read a book.
Ah, I see.
And finally, eventually, he became a lawyer, right? Lawyer. And the second president is Obama.
Okay.
You are not interested in.
You just tell. No, you don't tell to
Yeah.
me. You have to communicate
Yeah.
with the audiences.
Because Obama is a great speaker. Yeah. So whenever he is speaking in front of the audience, wow, it was so fantastic. He didn't mumble like me, or he didn't pause. He always calming down and speaking like gently and softly. So
What about Kim Il Sung's and Kim Jong Un's speech?
it's not a speech, because the speech has nothing but lie. And the third president, what about Trump?
Okay, go on, please.
Because when Trump got elected in 2016, I was shocked, because how Americans elected him. I didn't believe it, because I knew that. I mean, Americans. I thought Americans are well educated, and there are a lot of great people in the U.S., right? That's why I thought, wow, Trump maybe he shouldn't get elected, because I believed intellectual knowledge, collective knowledge. But Trump got elected, so I was shocked, because wow, the world will come to the end. I mean, will ended. Yeah. But in a way, I came to like the president of Trump, because he also made efforts to talk with Kim Jong Un, even though he made the decision for himself. But in history, there was no president who wanted to talk with the leader of North Korea, because North Korean leaders are notorious, and they are not like how can I explain, like they are dictators, and president in the US, they don't talk with the leaders. But in a way, I think we should talk with even dictators like Kim Jong Un for North Koreans. Yeah. Because if we want to solve a problem, we should communicate, right? We should have a conversation. But like Obama was a great speaker and great president, but he ignored the issues on Korean Peninsula. But Trump, he's morally, he's not a good person in terms of morality or decency, but at least he had a conversation with Kim Jong-un. That's how we can solve a problem for North Koreans, right? I mean, a lot of people out there who support North Korean human rights or who help North Koreans, but they don't think about having a conversation with like North Korea. I think that's the problem, but Trump did it.
So here is my question. Whether there is their own purpose to communicate and then to approach the North Korea with the Kim Jong-un, it's better than not to talk about any North Korean issues.
North Korean issues?
With the Kim Jong-un, you mean?
They all talk about the issues, but those kinds of issues, they don't come to the media because it's kind of controversial, right? So what my point is that I said before, we can criticize, but we cannot hate, right? We should not hate others, which means even though we criticize, we should have a conversation.
Even though it's just like as a political show without any results, it's better to
I can
talk.
say that is a political show, but even though that is a political show, that is unnecessary. Yeah.
Why do you think it's important and then necessary to do it?
To help North Koreans.
How? How it is helped?
By having a conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, Uni, you are like, let's suppose you are the leader in North Korea and I am leader in like the US or South Korea, and there is a problem that should be solved, but we don't like each other, and I don't want to talk with you. It's not a way of solving a problem. Even though we hate each other, we should talk. And my point is that Trump did it.
That's
So
why
I know,
you think
I
it's
know.
a favorite,
Yeah.
third one.
Not favorite, but I can say that
That
Trump,
part.
it's okay. Like this. I know in the US, there are a lot of people who don't like Trump. But
So
that's okay, I think.
So it's very like nice topic to deliver and then to talk about this kind of problem. And my audiences will ask might wonder this. What do you think about the North Korean economic sanction?
Sanction?
What is your opinion?
We should put sanction forward. Like we keep sanctions on North Korea until they opens their door. I mean, we have to keep the sanction on North Korea until North Korea opens the door.
I see.
At the same time, we also approach by having a conversation. That's my point.
I see. Oh, wow. I really like it. It's amazing ending up and wrap up of this
Did I answer well?
Yeah, it's very well, and then that's what I want to talk. And people asked me like, what do you think of the economic sanction towards North Korea? I always said, just like until they make a denuclearization, we have to put the sanction on North Korean government.
Sanction is necessary.
Yeah, that's our opinions, and I'm so happy that I'm gonna finish with this wrap up statement. And then thank you so much guys for staying for almost 2 hours, and almost 2 hours.
That's why
and
I
then,
am tired. Okay.
like I'm gonna treat you. And hi guys, there is an announcement that I established my Patreon. So if you join with my Patreon, you will have more chance to connect with me personally, and also you will have exclusive access that you can watch about North Korea and then deeply in a practical way as well. So please join with my Patreon. And then thank you so much and to James, because Oh my god, that's amazing. I really like his all of answers and based on your questions. Thank you for your time. It's amazing
Sure.
to see you.
Thank you for having me because I always enjoy talking about the lives of North Koreans and the lives of North Koreans in South Korea as well.
So can
So-
we predict that you can live streaming again with the other topic?
Sure, as long as there's a topic. I mean, there is always a topic. So yeah, if the audience, I mean your audience, wants to hear me, I always
Oh
be here.
yeah, they are really honored to hear your opinions about North Korea as well.
Talking about political issues like like Trump and Obama as well, like I said before, and yeah, thank you for having me and thank you for the audience because I know Uni, maybe they know better than me about you, right? Because they always watch your YouTube.
But personally,
Yeah.
you know better.
In South Korea, like Uni, she's one of the North Korean women or North Koreans that I respect because she always stays, like pleasant and positive.
No, don't
Yeah.
make me cry.
No, you cannot.
I'm so shy.
I mean that's the fact because you always make effort or work up the courage to talk about in front of the people, right? Like as a speaker, and I know being a speaker that needs a lot of energy and a lot of courage, but you are doing it now, so that's why I can say that you are the one of the North Korean women that I respect in South Korea. So support Uni
Thank you so much for saying it.
and support
because-
my channel.
Oh yeah, but keep doing please. And then he has his channel, James from North Korea. So please go to check and then subscribe and hit the likes a lot and comments a lot, and he will reply to you. And I will invite him again with a very interesting
Sure.
topic. And thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Love you. Bye. How can I end up?
You can